Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. That is to say, in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, a so-called black man. Abstaining from sex on the Sabbath is holy. Abstaining from sex on the Sabbath is holy. This is 1 Corinthians 7, verse 5. And it reads, defraud ye not one the other, except it be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt ye not for your incontinency. And this is what it's talking about, abstaining from sex on the Sabbath is holy. And when you look up this word defraud in the Greek, one of those definitions is rob. So in any other circumstance other than the Sabbath, you're not supposed to rob one another from having sex, except it be with consent for a time. But on the Sabbath, which is a form of time, it says, defraud ye not one another, except it be with consent for a time. And that time is the Sabbath. 6 days shall you work on the Sabbath, you shall not, that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer. So now on the Sabbath, you're supposed to give yourself to fasting and prayer. And we know one form of fasting is to go without, or to abstain, not to have, and come together again. So then after that Sabbath, you are allowed to come together again. You can, if you so see, partake or have, sexual relationships with your wife if you're a man, and with your husband if you're a woman. That Satan tempt ye not for your incontinency. And we know if you don't have any discipline, you can be easily tempted. I mean, just look at the biggest fornicator of them all, Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright, because he knew in that moment that he was perishing for not having, faith, but not also having discipline, because he in his mind justified, what good is a birthright going to do me if I'm starving and I don't have anything to eat? I'm not going to be able to receive that birthright if I'm dead. So for one morsel of meat, he sold his birthright. So he was without discipline, self-restraint. He lacked these qualities. Let's get that account in Hebrews. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 12, and let's start at verse 16. And it reads, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. He had no self-discipline or no self-restraint. When the first sign of adversity showed, he got those hunger pains, he was willing to quiet him by all means necessary. So he sold his birthright. For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessings, he was rejected. For he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. Yeah, after that, he done filled his stomach. Now he can go back to having his, right faculties. And now he has time to think about it, how he sold his birthright. Though he sought it carefully with tears, he was rejected, man. The birthright was already given, and it was already prophesied that would take place anyways. So there's nothing he could have done about it to begin with. So, having self-discipline and self-restraint is a trait that many can't obtain, And the biggest fornicator of them all, Esau, you know, crumbled or folded under that pressure, you know. They have no self-restraint, no discipline. I'm talking about the Edomites, man. That's why Job referred to them as the base of man, They basically, just foolish people. They can't comprehend or think, man. They just basic. They're the base of man. Man. Yeah, so it says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessings, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. So this is going back to 1 Corinthians 7th chapter. And let's go down to the 5th verse. Defraud ye not one another, except it be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your incontinency. So, Satan will tempt you in your most vulnerable moment, man. So you need to pray and fast. And fast is a form of going without. And the Sabbath was given to us for that specific reason, to separate us from the rest of these people, the rest of these heathens, the rest of these nations, man. So we'll have that hedge, So this is our heritage, man. These laws, statutes, commandments, and judgments. It tells us exactly what we need to do in order to keep Satan at bay. Keep him from off of us. So defraud ye not one another. So at any other time, you're not supposed to defraud ye one another. Like if your spouse wants to have sex, if your husband wants to have sex, you're supposed to give it to him, because that was the purpose of marriage, so he wouldn't be fornicating and have to go out and look for other elsewise and end up having sex with somebody else's wife. That's why it tells us in the beginning of this verse, now concerning the things wherefore ye vote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. The wife have not power of her own body, but the husband, and likewise also the husband have not power of his own body, but the wife. Defraud ye not one the other, except it be with consent for a time. And the consent for a time is the day we were given to separate us from the other nations, the other heathens, which is the Sabbath. Yet ye may give yourselves to fasting and praying. And a form of fasting is going without, abstaining yourself without having something. And prayer, and come together again. See? And then afterwards you could come together again and have sex. That Satan tempt ye not for your incontinency. And he can tempt you if you just see things as one continuously movement with no break in between, So you have to have time to clear your mind, and the Sabbath gives you time to reset and recalibrate and rethink things, So you get yourself together, you fast and you pray and you meditate on this word, so you can be fully focused. And we know, like we read in Hebrews the 12th chapter, that Esau, he couldn't handle that. He gave in. He cracked under pressure, So now we have to see exactly what does this say on the Sabbath. And for that, we're going to go to the book of Exodus, the 20th chapter. And let's go down to verse number 8. And it reads, remember the Sabbath day to keep holy, to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahweh thy power. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. So you see, it's telling us to keep the Sabbath holy, not to do any form of work, and that's showing restraint, keeping yourself separate from the other nations. Because in Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter, what does it tell us? Let's go there and find out. Deuteronomy 7, and let's go down to verse 6. And it reads, for thou art a holy people unto Yahweh thy power. Yahweh thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. And holy is another word for separate. So thou art a holy people to Yahweh thy power. So we're supposed to be separate from all the other nations. Yahweh thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. Right. So we were given these laws, statutes, commandments, and judgments. And the covenants. He didn't give these to any other people but us. You so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Americans, and to the rest of the Israelites that are scattered abroad that look like the other nations where we were scattered to the four corners of the earth, So we were given a special commandment. We had to keep these laws, statutes, commandments, and judgments, and we couldn't. We started following after these other idols and these other nations, and slowly but surely we were stripped from our heritage. So it says, for thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy power. For Yahweh thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all the people that are upon the face of the earth. So we see that we are separate from the other people. So the Sabbath day is the day that we're supposed to separate ourselves from the other people. And we do that by not doing things that these other nations are used to doing. See, these other nations, in particular, this current rulership that we are in right now, Esau, Edom, he has no form of discipline. To him, it's just do everything and don't worry about the consequences. That's why he has to be taken up out of his rulership, because his time is just about up. If it was up to him, he'll have everything completely out of a line, out of whack, which he already does, man. He has you eating all type of abominable food, which throws off the ecosystem. Everything is like a domino effect with this, man. Everything leads from one thing getting worse to the next thing getting worse to the next thing getting worse, man, because he has no discipline, no self-restraint, man. He's just like a big-ass child, That's why he's the base of man. He can't govern himself. Everything is in complete opposition of what the word says, man. So it's no surprise he wouldn't be able to abstain from having sex on the Sabbath. To him, it's just one continuous cycle, man. He gonna have it as much time as he can. If he could do it 8 days a week, he would, because he has no regards for what the word says, man. And not only having sex, but he'll have sex with all type of different things, man, from animals to objects to people to whatever. This is why you got to refrain yourself from following after following after the footsteps of these heathens, and not to get off subject, as pertaining to keeping the Sabbath day holy. But let's go to Jeremiah, the 10th chapter, and then we will come back. This is Jeremiah 10, and let's read a satire on idolatry, verse 1. Jeremiah 10:1. Hear ye the word which Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel, not anyone else, but you, O house of Israel. Thus saith Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. For the heathen are dismayed at them, for the custom of the people are vain, And that's just what it boils down to. You know, the custom of the people are vain, man. They think that everything is about them. They don't want to be separate. They don't want to have a day where they don't put themselves above anything else and recognize that this earth wasn't given to them and revolves around them. They want to continue to live every day as if it was the last, as if it was the same, with no, you know, with no, you know, respect to the Most High who made them, you know, and that's under the current rulership that we are under right now, you know, under this wicked rulership, under this fornicator rulership, man. He'll have you doing everything and won't think nothing of you. You'll think that there's nothing wrong with what you're doing, you know. So that's why we have to stay in this word, and this truth, it corrects us, it guides us, it shows us the light, you know. It shines on the darkness so we can see what we were doing, what we were in sin. You know, we wouldn't have that if it wasn't for Yahushua, who shed his blood on the cross, you know, for the Israelites, you know, and left us this comforter that is now awakening us in, you know, mass numbers. And now we finding out who we are through the prophecy, and now we turning back to the law, statute, commandments, and judgments, and we are regaining our heritage, you know. So now going back to Exodus, the 20th chapter, in the 8th verse, and it reads, "Remember the Sabbath day," you know, because we forgot. Through these captivities, you know, we lost who we were. We lost our identity. So we need to remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy, to keep it separate from all other days. And here's an example. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of Yahweh thy power. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. You know, so we're not supposed to do any work. We're not supposed to cook. We're not supposed to buy and sell. You're supposed to get all this stuff done in 6 days, you know. So let's go to Exodus. Let's go to Exodus 31 and see exactly what does it speak on the Sabbath. In verse 14 it says, "Ye shall keep the Sabbath therefore, for it is holy unto you. Every one that defileth it shall surely be put to death." And we're going to see how having sex on the Sabbath is defiling it, you know. But we're under grace, you know, and mercy. So, you know, we need to be working out our salvation, you know. So we need to hear this, repent, and continue not to do this. So it says, "Ye shall keep the Sabbath therefore, for it is holy unto you. Every one that defileth it shall surely be put to death." And having sex, when you have sex, the man seed copulates. We're gonna get that in the law. It's defiling anything that it touch as soon as it comes out of the man. You know, pertaining to the Sabbath, because it's supposed to be a holy day. You're not supposed to defile it. That's what we're reading right here on this verse. So it says, "Ye shall keep the Sabbath therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defileth it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. 6 days may work be done, but in the 7th is the Sabbath of rest, holy to Yahweh. Whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death." You know? So now when we go into the law, in Leviticus, the 15th chapter, and this is cleansing and unhealthiness. So when we go down to verse 16 and read, and it says, And if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water, and be unclean until evening. So now we see once the man's seed of copulation leaves from out of him, he is unclean until the evening. It says, in every garment and every skin wherein is the seed of copulation shall be washed with water, and be unclean until evening. So you have to wait until the evening, and then you're not unclean. It says, the woman also with whom man shall lie with seed of copulation, they shall both bathe themselves in water and be unclean until the evening. So after sex, you're supposed to both go and bathe and wash yourself in water, and then you'll be unclean until the evening. And everything that the seed of the copulation touch, you're supposed to wash and clean with water. But in this in this kingdom, man, they don't tell you, man. I mean, you just have sex, roll over, sleep, and wake up the next day, man. You don't think about doing anything that'll clean the sheets or whatever the seed of copulation touch. You don't even take a shower. Some of us don't even take baths after that. We just get it in all night. But it's telling us whatever the seed of copulation touch, whether it's the woman, whether it's you're supposed to wash it, and then you're going to be unclean until the evening. So verse 32 is what defile it shows you that's what defiles it. So it says Leviticus 15:32, and this is the law of him that have an issue, and of him whose seed goeth from him, and is defiled therewith. So when your seed goes from with you, you are defiled for a period of time, until the evening. So that's why you're supposed to abstain. That's why you're supposed to abstain from having sex on the Sabbath, so you don't defile it, pursuant to Exodus 31 and the 14th verse. Defile not the Sabbath. So when you have sex willingly on the Sabbath, and the seed comes out of you, then you defile the Sabbath. You see? So that's why abstaining from sex on the Sabbath is holy. So I just brought this out just to bring it to your awareness, so you'll know and continue not to sin and repent and understand that abstaining from sex on the Sabbath, that is holy. No matter what somebody might try to tell you to justify it, there's no way of getting around it. Abstaining yourself from having sex on the Sabbath, which is just one day out of 7, is holy. I mean, other than that, you basically, for following after the steps of the heathen. And we know the biggest fornicator of them all, Esau, for one morsel of meat sold his birthright, man. Showing you he has no self-discipline or no self-restraint. When times get hard, he's ready to fold, And the times we coming in, you're going to have and show self-discipline and self-restraint, man. Because these are some perilous times we coming in. Time like no other. Jacob's trouble, man. Well, you're going to have discipline. Well, who knows what having sex on the Sabbath could cost you. So you have to refrain and show self-discipline. Because you need as much hedge, much protection as you can. And the only way you're going to do that and have that is keeping in this word and staying in this word and obeying this word. So when those times come, you'll have that hedge of protection. You have the angels around you guarding you, directing your paths. Pursuing the Proverbs, the 3rd chapter, 4th, 5th, and 6th verse. You know, so you need to let Yahweh direct your way, man. And if you're not listening to His word, how can He direct your way? You're going in opposition of what He's saying. You're following out the ways of the heathen. You're showing your vanity. You know, you're showing your lack of self-discipline and of self-restraint. And that's exactly what the enemy wants. So we're gonna close out on that in 1 Peter and get it. And this is 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. And it reads, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour." And he don't want you to be sober. He don't want you to be disciplined. He don't want you to be vigilant. He don't want you to have self-restraint. He wants you to be all free willy, you know. He wants you to do as you will. He wants you to live that life of vanity. You know, thinking that everything revolves around you. You. You know, why can't we have sex on the Sabbath? We a married couple. Didn't the Lord ordain us? Can't I show my wife how I feel about her and how much I love her and partake in a righteous act, as righteous as having sex with your partner? Why can't I do it on the Sabbath? Okay. I mean, you got the information. Do with it as you will. You know? Do with it as you will. The scriptures clearly state, remember the Sabbath, keep it holy. Do not defile it. Then we go into the law and show you, once the seed leaves from the man, the seed of copulation leaves from the man, you are defiled until the evening. And then on top of that, you're supposed to wash everything that you touch. Take a bath, wash, clean. And then after the evening, you clean. So then after the evening of the Sabbath, you can go and have sex, if that's what your soul desires. But for one day, you can't go without having it? You can't be sober and be vigilant? You following in the steps after the biggest fornicator of them all. For one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Had no self-discipline. And then afterwards, he was rejected. He sought carefully to cry with tears. It's too late by that time. So we have to not learn the ways of these heathens, man. You know? And one of the biggest ways is being, under the guidance of having vanity. So we have to be sober. We have to be vigilant. So abstaining from sex on the Sabbath is holy, and it's not the end of the world. So with that being said, stay strong, stay in the faith. We almost home. Shalom.